So remember why they came to download your lead magnet. It wasn't because they wanted to buy what you sell, but it was because they had a problem or an issue that they were looking for some solution for.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nik Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today.
All right, well, that there so brings us to our main segment tonight, which is all about our online tools and, we've done the online tools and apps, but all about your lead magnet and so why it's not working and 5 steps to get it working properly. Excuse me if I'm just a wee bit out of it. We're still recovering from this virus that I had. So if you're happy to just bear with me while I get myself organized again. All right, and we're here now. All right, so our guest presenter tonight, well, there is no guest. You've got me tonight. So I always try and be on here so once every 4 to 6 weeks to impart some of what I know that is hopefully helpful to you as well too. And so really tonight is all about what I've discovered about lead magnets and what works, what doesn't work, why it doesn't work, and how to get things working a whole lot better. So, so if we flip through to, I'll share my screen here. And we'll try not to start in the middle. Let's escape and try and start at the beginning. There we go. All right, so yes, this session, 5 reasons why your lead magnet leads to 0 leads. Oh, sorry, the reason why it leads to 0 leads, 5 things you can do to fix it. Now, the reason why this is important is that so often I come across people and they say that, you know, they've got a lead magnet. How many leads does it generate? Well, it's not much at all. And it really just does nothing for their business. A good lead magnet is really going to generate you enough leads there if you never have to cold call, ideally never have to go and advertise, but certainly not have to cold call and not have to be out there chasing leads for your business, that there should be enough that it generates inquiries coming into your business so that you're responding to those as opposed to really sort of out there hunting. And if you do this properly and you do it well, then you will find that your phone and your inbox will have enough leads to really sort of keep you busy in business and keep you profitable in business. And if you do want more, then there are sort of processes and steps to go through to accelerate that or amplify it. One thing I would say tonight is I'm not talking about using paid ads for your lead generation with your lead magnet. So, and the thing I would say about paid ads, and this is a mistake that one of the mistakes people make, and I'll come on to this, is that they will pay for ads, driving them to their website, thinking that there is the panacea for getting more leads. Generally what it is, it's a panacea for making Google and Facebook rich. So, and so Facebook and Google really don't care whether your ads work or not. All they care is that you advertise with them and that people click on your ads because that's how they get paid. That's why it's called pay-per-click advertising. They get paid when people click on your ad. They don't get paid if you generate leads or not from those particular ads. So, so unless you've got a lead magnet that's working well, then it is a major mistake to be paying for ads, driving into a lead magnet that you don't know is working well or not, because paying for it only amplifies the results that you're getting. So if you're getting nobody subscribing to your lead magnet, paying for ads means that if you pay $100 and you still get no subscribers, then you've still got that same result of 0 leads, but you've now paid $100 to get those 0 leads. So the time you should be paying for ads is after you've got it set up and you've worked through your organic strategies, and those organic strategies are working and they're getting you leads. Once that's happening, that's the time that's worth paying for ads, unless you happen to have some reasonably bulky pockets and you're happy to shell out some cash to do some testing of it, and you don't mind burning a bit of cash in order to find a lead magnet that's working well for you. But I would suspect that none of us here are in the business of burning cash. Most of us are in the business there of making cash in our businesses and not spending needlessly. So really today's session is so you don't have to spend needlessly, get something up and running well that works properly. It's bringing you in leads, and then when you do actually start paying for ads, you're actually amplifying the result that you're getting. And by results, I mean conversion rates. So conversion rates are, if you get 10 people along, one person downloads your lead magnet, that is a 10% conversion rate on your lead magnet. So if you're getting, your conversion rate's 10%, then you can then be confident that if you start to throw some ads at it, then at least you're hopefully going to maintain that percentage, that conversion rate of 10%. When you throw some money at it. All right, so let's just open up the floor to start with. What is the purpose of a lead magnet? Let me know what you think the purpose of a lead magnet is. So feel free just to unmute yourself or drop in chat. Let us know what you think the purpose of it is.
Get email address.
Get an email address. That is definitely the purpose of a lead magnet. And in fact, anyone else that had anything else? There is no other purpose. It is just to get an email address. That's it. So so often I get answers back. I think Paul's cheated. Well, actually hasn't cheated. He's just been listening because I've spoken about this before. A lot of people sort of think that the purpose of their lead magnet is to do things like demonstrate credibility, to show their capability, to provide valuable content, to brand themselves, and to give good content. Now, while all of that is true that a lead magnet can do that, that is not the purpose of it. So what it does and the purpose of it are two different things. So and also the purpose of it from a consumer downloading it and from you as a business owner is different as well too. So so for you it's to get an email address. For the consumer or for the person that downloads it, what do you think the purpose of the lead magnet is for them? So feel free, just unmute and tell me or drop it into chat. So free stuff. Cameron says free stuff. Yes,
find something of value to solve a problem for them.
Something that's going to solve a problem for them. Yeah, absolutely. What else?
So perhaps the thing that they don't think it is, so if you like the subconscious thing is that's their first interaction with you in terms of your expertise, your ability, your insights, whatever. Now, they may not be thinking that out loud. It's more of what Paul said, but in fact, that's the subliminal thing that they get from your lead magnet.
Definitely is the thing that they get from the lead magnet. Absolutely. Yeah. And so it is important to have good content and demonstrate, I suppose, capability and that, you're able to help solve a problem. But that's at the point they actually get the lead magnet. There is a point before they receive it and before they read it that really sort of says, oh, I've got to download this. I'm prepared to give my email address in exchange for getting it back at the risk of being spammed. So who here doesn't think that they're going to get spammed by, or that thought doesn't enter their head, that if they put their email address in somewhere, that you're going to start getting a whole lot of emails, right? So people have already subliminally got that in their brain. So it's got to be sort of something that's compelling enough for them to think, I'm prepared to take that risk because what it looks like I'm going to get back is going to be greater than that risk of receiving unwelcome emails. That makes sense? Okay. So yes, it identifies a problem. Yes, it identifies a problem they have. So yep, that is really close on the nail. In fact, it probably does a wee bit more than that as well too. So people want more than just identifying the problem, but that there is probably about 80% of it. Any other ideas as to why someone would download a lead magnet, why they would put their email address in the first place? Well, what about discount? So, yep, certainly e-commerce. Yeah, I've been guilty of that, trying my email address to get a discount on goods. In fact, I sometimes look for those when I'm on a site buying something. Information, yep.
Because at the end of the day, Nick, you tend to think when it's a good lead magnet or it's identified you, they're just talking to you.
Yep.
Right. So when you download it, you're getting something for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have downloaded the thing, except for maybe the discount, right? But even that's for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is something in it for you. So that is one of the big things, is that there is something in it that's going to help me, or it's going to be useful for me here and now. So that's one key thing, is to think about what is going to be useful for, you know, the person that's going to download it, and how do you get into their sort of heads and thinking so that you're able to talk to them in that sort of language. And we're going to talk about that shortly. All right. So purpose of a lead magnet there for us as business owners is to get the email address. And I should ask, why do we want to get that email address? Because no one reads emails, right? Why the email address?
Build your list. Without a list, you don't have a business.
So build the list, yep. But if no one reads any emails, what's the purpose of getting emails? People
do read emails if you do it the right way.
Absolutely, they do read emails. So, yep. So anyone who's heard that myth out there that people don't read emails, it is a myth. People do read it. Who was I speaking to the other day? I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day who said that they got a 40% open rate on their emails. So getting 40% of the people reading your emails is a pretty good result. And then out of that, getting, you know, say 2 or 3% of people that click through on a link on your email is a really good result. So so that's an exceptionally good result. Generally, the industry average is that, you know, maybe 10% of people are going to actually open your emails, and maybe less than 1% are going to open them. So that's really the expectation. But even that's a bit of a myth as well too. With a poor list, and this comes down to how you build your list and the sort of lead magnets you craft. If you craft lead magnets that are fairly generic and fairly general and don't really speak to a specific issue or problem, you're going to build. You might be able to build a big list, and particularly if you're using clickbait or headlines that really entice people to download it, you may build a big list, but a big list is useless if the people on the list there are not really that interested in the product or the service or what you're able to do. So your objective is not to build a big list, but your objective is to build a list. In fact, even better, if you build a big list of engaged people that really want your product or service, then that's when you get your 40 to 50% open rates, and you get your higher than average click-through rates as well too. So it's really important that you think about the sort of person that you want to actually download your lead magnet. You don't want everybody to download it. There are only some people you want. So how many people here have mapped out or know who their ideal customer is? Like who they would like to actually contact them? Who knows that quite definitively? Just pop up your hand. So yeah, a couple of us, perfect. So yeah, well, okay, so 4 of us here. So that's great. So that's bigger than that's a bigger percentage than most groups that I speak with. It is really important that you know who your ideal customer is. You know, you call it avatar, you call it your ideal customer. There's lots of names for it. But it really is, you're drilling down to who is going to be the person that's going to be most interested in this and why they're interested in it, what sort of language do they speak. Because if you can create a lead magnet around that topic there, that's how you build a highly engaged list. And when you've got a highly engaged list that you communicate well with and communicate often with, that's where your list is really worth money. So that makes sense. So we're not here just to get email addresses, but we're here to get email addresses that really matter for you in the sort of business that you've got. Does that make sense? Yeah. So so just keep that in mind, and if there's nothing else you do out of from tonight's session, but to think about who it is that actually buys from you, and really refine that down, then that there is going to drive not only your lead magnets but the rest of your business as well too. And so some really good ways to do that. Just go to the people that spend the top 20% of your of people that spend money with you, and top 20% by the amount of money they spend with you and the number of times they spend it with you. Have a look at those people and see what sort of common characteristics that they share, and in terms of why they came to you in the first place. What problem were they trying to solve? What issues were they struggling with? What language do they use to describe where they were, and what results were they looking for? So if you start to draw it out, you'll find some common themes in there. And if you can start to pick out what these common themes are, then that's really the sweet spot in terms of aiming to get more of those sort of people. So if you do that, then it makes this part of the job a whole lot easier, and you get a highly engaged list of people that are ones that become your ideal customers. All right, so here are some common mistakes that people make about their lead magnet. First thing is they mention their product and service. So I'm going to use this analogy. It's probably one that all of us can relate to, even if we haven't been in the scene for a while. But if you go out, sort of meeting someone, dating someone, you're single, and if the first thing you mention on the first date is sort of how many kids you'd like to have, let's see how long your prospective date there sticks around, or whether you have a second date with them. So it's a bit like, sort of customers or people that you meet in your lead magnet. As soon as you start talking product and service, there's nothing that will turn them off quicker than your product and service. So remember why they came to download your lead magnet. It wasn't because they wanted to buy what you sell, but it was because they had a problem or an issue that they were looking for some solution for. So it's a change of thinking. So even though your product and service might actually help to solve that issue that they've got, they don't know that yet. But first of all, they want to know that you understand their problem, their issue, first of all. So if you can articulate that better than they can, here's a funny thing that happens, psychologically with people. If you can articulate, exactly how they're feeling, not only sort of what they're saying, but how they're feeling about their problem, issue, or thing that want the solution for. If you can put words to it in a way that they haven't been able to put words for it, and you've got that up on your page or in the lead magnet, then they automatically think you have the solution. So you don't even need to talk about the solution. Just the fact that you're able to express what they're feeling that they haven't been able to express themselves, they think that you've got the solution. So that's one of the really important keys. So so we'll talk about how to get there as well too. There is a process to get to understand what people are feeling and what's left unsaid underneath what they've actually told you. The next mistake that people make is that they use jargon. Now, jargon is words that you use in your industry. I hear it in the healthcare industry all the time. So I would like to say they're the worst proponents of it, but no, they're probably not the worst. It's just the ones I hear the most. So they'll talk about sort of what solutions they're able to provide before even sort of understanding what people's issues and problems are. I was watching, what was I watching? Tex-Mex, which is a car show on Netflix. So they go over the Mexican border, they pick up wrecks of cars over there. They can buy them for about 10% of what they can purchase them for in the States, bring them back into the States, and then they go and do them up. But one of the guys on the show there is he's your typical quick talking car salesperson, loves sales. And as soon as he starts talking to customers about trying to talk them into buying a car, when he starts, he automatically assumes the car is for them. And so he starts talking about the car and how good they'll look in the car. And then he'll sort of throw in a question like, so tell me, what is it you want in a car? Or can you see yourself in this classic car? Because they do classic cars. And one of the shows was that the woman said, oh, well, actually, it's not for me. It's for someone else, quite special. So this is not a question he asked at the beginning. It's a question he discovered on the way through, quite by accident, by asking a question and being told that no, that's not what she was looking for. So that there is all about you need to ask questions first to find out where people are and what they're thinking and what they're really looking for, as opposed to providing sort of solutions to it or assuming what people think. So more important to have those questions. So don't talk about your solutions. So find out what people's problems are and talk about it in that perspective as well. Don't talk about you in the lead magnet. No one cares about you at the moment. They don't care about your business. They don't care about you. What they do care about is that if what they're downloading can help them here and now. So they don't care that you've been in business for 30 years, or it's a family business that's been around for 100 years, or you've got sort of 100 satisfied customers, all that sort of thing. That really doesn't make a lot of difference. That's all important for later on, but it's not important right now. So getting testimonials and your credibility is important. It's just not important right now. So you need to think about what's the immediate thing that they're looking for to have solved right now, and solve the solution. Some people try and trick people in their lead magnets. So they'll use things like clickbait, so that they'll try and sort of get people to download their thing with tricky words or phrases there, and then people download it, and all it ends up is they're disappointed with what they get because it's not what they thought it was. So if you're building a list by tricking people into it, you're going to build a list of dissatisfied people that actually don't want to do business with you in the first place, and you've really just wasted your time. So forget those tactics there that are all about being clever and tricky. Just be honest and talk about how things are as they are. You'll attract a better quality of person. Contrary to popular opinion, sex doesn't sell, I suppose, unless you're a brothel. Using sort of sexy phrases or those sort of things, they just don't work. So don't even try. It really just doesn't work at all. And it's the same with using clever humor as well too, or trying to be clever or using humor. Again, in headlines and things, that really doesn't sell. What does sell and what does work is being specific and talking about the problems that people have and empathy. So if you use that, that's what's really going to work for you. So don't ever emulate people that are trying to trick you into doing things or using sort of the sex or whatever to try and sell. And the other thing too is don't confuse. So be clear as well too. And part of that confusion is is to stick to one thing. There is a temptation, if you offer a whole range of services. What is it? I met a woman who recently, where was she? Up north of Brisbane. I went to a networking meeting, and she sold real estate. Well, that was what was on her card. Was she was a real estate salesperson, but she also did rentals. Not only did she do that, she was also a Reiki practitioner, and she had some other health modalities, and she had something else as well too that I can't quite remember what it was. And there's a reason why I didn't remember. She had too many things going on that I couldn't pin my hat onto what she was actually doing. Her business card said real estate agent, but do you think I'd use her as a real estate agent if she's confused me about all these other things she's doing as well? Who wants a real estate agent that's going to perform Reiki on you while you're looking through a house? I mean, it might, Reiki's good in a particular situation when you're expecting it, and that's what you're going there to pay for. But, or if you go along to her Reiki session, she tries to sell you a house. It's like those sort of things just don't sort of work. So, and I know that comes from, I suppose a mentality of scarcity or trying to sort of cover as many bases as possible. But, the more bases you try and cover, the less you're going to try and hit. So be very specific about what it is you're offering in your lead magnet. So I'm going to talk about some of that specificity as well too, and it's going to be more specific than you think. If you offer one product in your business, and I'm just looking here on the screen, I'm looking at Andrew here at the moment. He's got a very, very clear product, and he is a book publisher, and he teaches people how to write a book and get it published and out onto the bookstores. So very clear proposition, but inside that is still way too broad for most people when they're coming to download a lead magnet. So we've got to drill down and think about what is the specific problem that they have in front of them right now. They're not ready to be an author at the moment, but right now, what is their specific issue that they've got right now? And so if you can start to drill down to that there, then you're going to start to be able to get something that is really going to talk to the person. So it might be that, I don't know, can we open it up? Are you happy to just workshop this a little bit, Andrew, just to get to some point in this lead?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd be good.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to answer those questions as honestly and truthfully as you can.
As opposed to how I answer any other question.
Pretty much, yes, pretty much. I told you not to make me laugh because it'll make me cough. So when people, what are some of the common things that people say to you? Like if you're running a course and people are asking you about writing a book, what are some of the common things they say or doubts that they've got about themselves?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest problem is most people don't realise that they need a book to stand out and to gain credibility and trust to begin with. So that's the hardest part. And then secondly, the reason a book works for that reason, the reason it builds that trust and credibility is we've all been brought up knowing that authors were an authority. The word is in the title. So a lot of people doubt themselves. I'm not the expert. How can I be worthy of writing the book? And then if I do write a book, who's going to read it?
All right, so there's that there. So you start to touch on it now. What's the question that comes after that there?
As to who's going to read my book?
No, about themselves writing a book.
Yeah. Go on. You know the answer. You've been there.
Well, you got book authors out there, mate. I'm no book author. They're famous people. I could never write a book. Is that something that they would say?
Very common. Very common.
Okay. And why do they think they could never write a book? What goes on in their heads?
Oh, it's just self-doubt. It's and whether they're not well enough educated or they weren't any good at English or I'll stop you there. So they're not very good at English. Yep.
So there's the thing that stops them is I was never any good at English at school.
Yep. Yeah, good one. Yep.
So there's something. So how do they feel about not being very good about with English?
Well, it just creates self-doubt. They can't go on to do something like this that they want to do.
They can never do it because they're a bit of a dummy. They feel like a bit of a dummy because they weren't very good at English. Maybe they've had someone tell them that they're not very good at English. That their marks they got at schools were sort of like C's and D's, and so obviously they're never going to be an author if they can't even sort of spell their name correctly. But do you know people that have written books that are sort of terrible at English?
I've known people that have completed books who are illiterate.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So what they think and what they believe is not true.
Correct.
So our job is, with the lead magnet, is to prove that what they think is not true. So so a lead magnet might be something, so it would address exactly that fear. So when we talk about specificity, we're now not talking about writing a book, although we are, but we're now talking about how to write a book if you are bottom of the class in English at school and you are told you're illiterate.
Yeah.
Yep, that there's going to attract people that feel like they're not very good at English or are illiterate. And so are they good people to attract into your book writing program?
Yeah.
Can you help?
We can change that.
Yep. So you can help them. But if you start talking to people about the fact that they can write a book, be a self-published, not self-published, actually published through a large publishing house and get onto bookshelves, they are never going to believe that.
Yep.
Because they've got that self-doubt about themselves. But if you start to address the issue that they've got, the specific issue they've got is that they are not very good at English. Well, they believe they're not very good at English, and they're illiterate, and address that there, how they can write a book even if they've got this condition. Now you get their attention, and that's quite a specific condition. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Very good.
So yeah, thanks for that, Andrew. So the more you can start to drill down to what are the specific issues that your clients have got. So that is one there. That would be sort of a specific issue for sort of clients of, say, Andrew. So can you think of specific issues that you would have for clients in your industry? And I'm looking at Gordon now because he's looking away. He's in the property investment field. You happy to come off mic there, Gordon?
Yeah, Nick.
Excellent. I just thought I'd pick on you because I could see you weren't listening. So you're in the property investment field. Everyone knows it's, that you should invest in property. But what are the common things that you get from people as to why they don't?
Most of the people don't even know they can afford it.
Okay, so they can't afford it. Yep. Why do they think they can't afford it?
I think it's the way we've been brought up.
So way they've been brought up. So in terms of being brought up, that message must have been drilled into them somehow. So who's drilled that message into them, or what have they heard? What are those things that people have said to them?
Yeah, it's a good one, Nick. It's. I think there's too much negative publicity around it, not enough positive publicity.
Yeah.
I can't believe how simple it should be for most people, and yet very few people make it succeed.
All right, so you've just really sort of triggered a problem that most people have in business, is that you can't believe how people sort of find it so difficult when you know it's so simple. Anyone else feel like that in their... So most of us are experts on what we do. So for what we do, it seems easy. But for other people that have not got our experience or just don't know all the issues around it, it appears hard. So, for someone that's sort of, they might be earning, sort of 6 figures, yet they still think they can't afford a property. Now, that's not, is it? I mean, they could afford a property, couldn't they? And there are ways for them to get it.
Well, most of them have got sufficient equity in their existing properties nowadays so they can get the equity together. They don't have to save the deposit.
All right. So are there people out there that don't realise you can use their equity in the house to go and buy another one?
Obviously, a lot.
Yeah. So there's a specific sort of niche in there. I mean, it's still quite a broad one, but people that have got equity in their property, and there may be some beliefs around that equity as well too, in that you don't borrow against your home. You need to pay your home down as quick as you possibly can. Is that what some people believe?
Well, people look at it as being a major asset that they don't want to risk.
Exactly. Yep. So they've got risk in there. Pay it down. Pay it down as quick as you can. It's the one thing that keeps you secure in life.
Yep.
So those are. So when you think about that, what are the feelings that are attached to it if they start to risk the biggest asset in their life? What's the feeling that comes up around that? Do you think?
I think the biggest fear feeling they get is fear. They're extremely cautious about it. They really need to understand it can't go wrong, and yet there's so much negative publicity out there, and the failure rate is extremely high.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the stats. I believe probably 75% of people who buy an investment property sell it within 5 years, and 90% make a loss. That's a scary figure.
That is a scary figure, but most people don't know that. But what they do know is that if they're risking the biggest asset that they've got, and the biggest risk is this asset, they could lose it. And if they lose it, they lose the home, they lose their security, they lose potentially their family. So all of that's all tied up in there, and that's all emotional stuff. It's not true, it's just emotional stuff. So if you can then craft a lead magnet around how to invest in property without putting your home at risk, and without putting your family at risk, and something around that there, and now you're able to get to people that in terms of how they're feeling. You don't actually have to talk about your property investment or your product at this stage here. You've got to get over the fact that they're scared of actually putting their own house on the line. So until you deal with that fear there, they're never going to move forward with your product and service. And so that's not just for Gordon's business, that's for everybody's business as well too. Thanks for that, Gordon. So people have got inherent fears, problems, issues that are buried deep within themselves, which they won't actually articulate, that you need to get to the core of. If you can get to the core of that and start to put those to words, then you've got a process of a conversation with people, with a lead magnet. So, and those become headlines for your lead magnet and for your landing pages. So, so you really need to find out what are those core beliefs that people have that they haven't expressed to you yet. So, so I'm just reading the chat here at the moment. So the question is, how do you find out these core beliefs? I want to show you a quick way to do that, so you can start to dig it out. Let's just have a look at the comments here. All right. If you have multiple offerings, then you should have different lead magnets for each of them so that you're getting the right people aligned to the right offering. Absolutely. So that's from Cameron. So yes, don't think that one lead magnet is going to cover your entire business. So when I'm talking about getting quite specific, you're getting specific for one issue, for one type of client that's got a specific problem, they're feeling a specific way. You might have another lead magnet for something else, for a different issue or client issue. So you can have multiple lead magnets, but you want to keep all of those lead magnets quite specific to pretty much one issue that they've got. Because remember, this is the first step. This is the first coffee date. Once you've at least getting them to download that, then you can have a conversation about solving that and the rest of the issues that come up as well, taking them on the journey through to what you offer. All right, what if I'm specializing in reverse aging with a special interest in preventing Alzheimer's and other cognitive issues, but this often needs a long-term intervention time. How can I get more specific about that when someone they might not know they're a candidate for this type of cognitive decline? Yeah, that's really good. In fact, you've got the bones of something really good in a lead magnet there. If people don't know that this condition is something that is either going to affect them or their family, then what you do is you start to create that fear. I know that sounds horrible, but you need to sort of create that in them. So, and the problem is that most of the time people aren't aware of a whole lot of things. So, for instance, we just talked to Andrew there. People aren't aware that they could be a published author because they've got all these fears and doubts about themselves. For health issues like this one here, they think that they're bulletproof and these things aren't going to happen to them. So, but really deep down is the fear is, what if this does happen to me? They may not be articulating or feeling that, but by being able to bring that to the surface, and you might use something in the lead magnet, which would be something like, how does a healthy person who's fit and active end up with Alzheimer's at the age of 50? So that there is going to hit a 50-year-old thinking, that's me, because I'm fit and healthy. I go to the gym, I go running, I would not think I'm a candidate for that. Now you've piqued my curiosity. I might actually just download this because there's some things here that I don't know. So hitting that curiosity button is really good. So if you think about, where people feel bulletproof and they're healthy, you have to sort of dig up sort of maybe some case studies are good for that as well too, but how it happens that someone fit and healthy does it. I mean, we've all heard of people that are fit and healthy that died of a heart attack when they're in their 40s or in their 50s, right? Or that person there that has smoked a packet a day and drank like a trooper and ended up sort of fit and healthy and 90. So, so you've got to look at, what are the opposites and how can you sort of bring that out in people and get them to think about it. All right, talk to the, Sally, talk to the relationships. That's really your clients or the people. Yeah, talk to relations. Yeah, absolutely talking to relations as well. Yeah, in fact, if you talk to people that have gone through this or the relatives of people that have gone through Alzheimer's, and I'm one of them because my mother's gone through that, or she's in that at the moment. Then you start to get how they're feeling about it and what's happened for them and what impact and effect that's had on the family. And then you start to draw some common parallels with people that might have a family member that's at a very, very, very early onset of Alzheimer's. And then you start to think, well, there's some triggers there. And you start to raise in people's minds of thinking, there's someone that I know that's, that is suffering that same thing or demonstrating those same behaviors. I wonder if. So if you get people starting to think that, that phrase, I wonder if, or that's me, that's really what you need in your lead magnet. Excellent. Those are really helpful. Thank you for that. All right. Oh, here's the biggest mistake as well too. If you spend any more than 10% of your time creating a lead magnet, then that's too much time. You should only spend about 10% of your time creating a lead magnet, 90% of the time on all the other stuff that goes around the lead magnet process. So I know too many people that try and perfect the lead magnets. In fact, what they do is they spend their time on graphics on their lead magnet. They try and make it look pretty, try and look good. It's really presentable. Now, while that's all really good, it is absolutely pointless if no one downloads it. So you've actually got to. So you're far better off to have something like a Word documents created into a PDF document. That's not your best work. I mean, the content's still good, but not the best presentation. And actually have 100 people download that, then no people download something that is an exceptional work of art. So don't be the perfectionist over that actually creating a lead magnet. You can always fix it up later on, but be the perfectionist in the other 90%, which I'm going to talk to you about now. Anyone guilty of that, by the way? Because I know I have been. Yep. All right, so first thing is, and we've spoken about this now, is you need to find micro problems. So look for the small problems that you can provide a complete solution to. That's the ideal. And so a complete solution is somebody's got a micro, like a small problem that you solve, and you can solve it today. And in fact, they can solve it themselves if you give them a process to do it. So, for Andrew, for instance, people writing books there, people think that they're not very good at English and they're illiterate. What's a really good solution for them to actually write a book? And there's several out there. Anyone got any sort of comment on how someone who is illiterate might write a book? Let's drop it into chat. Pictures, you draw pictures. Yes, you could definitely have a picture book. So pictures are a good book. There are photographers that have got books out there that are all photos. So you don't actually have to be text. We've got a few chat GPTs there. That'll make Andrew cringe. But
yeah, won't work, people. Won't work the way you want it to. Trust me. So, but you're on the right track. AI will work, but you're better off using one of the transcription services and actually talking your book.
In fact, Cameron Jones has just come and said transcribers. So on the money there. Yep.
Well done, Cameron.
So, well, in fact, you could write a book with ChatGPT. The question is whether it'd be successful or not, but it is a solution. But yet transcription, pictures. So there's all sorts of other solutions there. So if you put together a lead magnet on how to become a published author without writing a single word, or even though you're illiterate, you've got some solutions for them. So your lead magnet might only be 1 page long, but you've provided them with a solution that they could start and finish today. So what I would do with that there is, let's say it was using transcription. You could give them a complete solution of using I was going to say a dictaphone, that would show my age, but using a phone to record into a phone there, and then sending it off to a service like rev.com to go and get it transcribed and have it back to you. So there's a solution there for someone to at least get the bones of a book together. So that is a complete solution that someone could walk away, they could talk into a machine, they could send it off to rev.com, they could get back their raw manuscript. So that's what I mean by giving them a complete solution to their micro problem. You're not giving the complete solution to everything that you do, but only one small aspect of it. So you don't have to give out the house, but you give them enough. So what happens is if you get them to do that and they go off and do that and they get this transcription back and they think, geez, I've done this. They get this feeling of, first of all, they get this endorphin rush and feeling of, well, I can do that. Well, what's next? Who are they going to go to for the what's next place? They're going to go back to the person that told them to do this in the first place, generally, if you keep in touch with them. The second thing that happens is even if they don't go and do it, what you've opened up the gateway to is to say, oh, this is actually possible. I can see how this is possible. This actually makes sense. And so once you start to eliminate, so you call that objections. So now that's the traditional term of science. These are the objections. Once you start to eliminate that by providing a solution that they see is feasible and achievable, then you've taken them a step closer to, you know, the major product or service that you offer. So think about micro problems, solve it completely, and psychologically what happens there is if you help people to solve something without your intervention, just with the information you give them, then in their eyes you become the expert, and in fact you become the go-to expert because nobody else has shown them this before. And when they do go to someone else, or when they do go to take the next step, they still might not be ready for the full step yet, but you take them to the next step. You want to be in place there to give them the next step as well too, and then the next step after that. So getting the email address, delivering the ebook, and then giving them the next step through maybe an email or taking them on to the next phase. That's how you progress people through to actually spend money with you with the lead magnet. And that's how you get them coming back to you as well. So someone that has downloaded it sends you an email and says, I haven't used rev.com. Are there any other, or I don't know rev.com. Are there any other alternatives? Is that a good email to receive? That's an excellent email to receive because now you've got them engaging with you. And they're asking you some questions. So when people start to ask you questions like that, they're engaged. And when they're engaged, you can now talk with them and have a conversation. And you know, if you have a conversation with someone, then you develop that whole know, like, and trust scenario with them. And once you start to solidify that and make that deeper, not only you're on your first coffee date, you're onto dinner, you're onto breakfast, and before you know it, you're in a fully fledged relationship where they're spending money with you. So a good way to put some people have heard this before, but a good way to find out what these micro problems are is to go to Facebook groups. So Facebook groups are my favorite place to go to. In fact, if I take you to one at the moment, which one do we want? Okay, we'll go to this one here. Let's go to this one here. What you want to do is to try and find a Facebook group where your ideal targets, prospects, people are likely to be hanging out. might not be in your industry, but it's where they hang out and where they might express some, I suppose, some issues or problems, or quite happily express it or ask for advice related to that. So if you deal with parents, you might go to parenting groups. Or even if you deal with health, you might go to parents groups as well too, particularly kids' health. You go to parents groups because that's where you're going to find people that have got kids. So think about where they're hanging out. Most of mine are business groups. So I've got this group up here. I try and look for groups that have got more than 5,000 people in them. I'm talking about groups, not pages. And where there's a reasonable amount of interaction as well. So you want people interacting in the group. So just have a look through, when is the most recent post? If the most recent post is 3 weeks ago, forget it, it's not an active group. But if the most recent posts are today or yesterday, and there's a few of them there and people are commenting on it, that's the sort of group that you want. But you really want ones that are sort of ideally over 5,000 people. So I've got one up here, business. It's got 32,000 people in it. And in each of the groups there, some of them you might need to join. So if you need to join them, it's worth joining them just to run through this process here, is you hit the little magnifying glass and you do a search. And so there are only 6 phrases that you search on. First one is how. That's it. And what that will bring up is every single post that has got that word how in it. Now, what's important about that word how? Usually, how is a question. So if people are saying how, it's like, how do I do this? So it is a question. So what you then go and do is scroll through until you find a post there where people are asking how questions. This one's not. All right, here's one here. So there you go. Going through an outstanding invoice and chasing them up for payment. Customer owes $2,000. Let's have a look. No, that's a sales pitch, that one. So you've got to work through some of them until you get the right one. How's everyone doing today work-wise? No, that one's no good. Okay, here's one. For ages, I've been wondering how people, randoms trying to sell me their product, have gotten hold of my direct email. For as far as I know, it's nowhere public. All right, that is a good how question. So if you're in the space of, I don't know, maybe privacy, security, that sort of thing there, that's a great question. So I'll go and grab that, copy it out, put it into a spreadsheet, and then keep going. But the other thing you want to do too is check the comments. How many comments are on it? So this one's got 20 comments in it. So you go through and have a look at the comments and see what sort of answers people are giving. And I would then pull out the good answers as well too, and the bad answers, because you can use those as part of your process as well too. So run through that. Once you run through and got a whole lot of hows, then you go through and ask what. So what is always is another type of question. So the 6 questions are how, what, why, when, where, and who. If you just search on those 6 phrases, those six words, that'll pull up a ton of information there on the sorts of questions and issues that people have. And that by far is one of the most powerful tools that you have to really get the lay of the land, in terms of the sorts of questions people are asking in the industry that you are working in, where you don't actually have to ask people directly, and you're getting some fairly unfiltered and unbiased questions as well too. So hopefully that's useful. If you go into those Facebook groups and do that, you'll be amazed at the wealth of information that's in there. Now, I've tried it in LinkedIn. LinkedIn's not quite that sort of platform, or that you can get some results in there as well too. But people tend to really spill what's on their mind in Facebook quite easily with people that they don't know, strangers they don't know, and you'll find there's just a whole lot of gold in there. So keep a spreadsheet of it all, and then you can use that to then sort of look for what are the common micro issues that people are asking. What are they asking over and over and over and over again? And if you get ones that people are asking over and over again, and then drill down to another level deeper where you say, well, why are they asking that? What are they feeling? Those are the 2 questions, why and what are they feeling? So go for the feelings and the emotions they've got. Once you start to get to that there, then you can start to craft up copy for your lead magnet and landing pages. All right, Azim, you got your hand up.
Yes, if I just may offer some additional stuff to that great stuff that you just offered. Another great resource that I've used many times in the past, and it tends to help you with the headline as well for your lead magnet, is if you find a book on your topic or area of topic, or a couple of books on Amazon, and preferably one with maybe 100 reviews or something, and go to the positive reviews and the negative reviews, and you'll often find whole sentences about what it is that you're helping to educate people about that actually describe what you do. Often you'll find, I was hoping this book would give me a quicker way to do it. It's going to take so much time. That would be a negative review. So that when you're doing your headline, it's how to do X, Y, Z as quickly as possible without taking too much time, right? And quite often in that, so I usually will pull those reviews and put them into a word cloud and then run that, and it'll give me the most commonly used words in those reviews, and that helps a lot as well.
Perfect. Yep, that is another excellent way. I've used that as well too, and that's another really good way of doing it as well. Thanks, Izzy. All right. Well, let me crack along here. Otherwise, we're going to be here sort of all night. But I've really just covered the most important part of getting your topic for your lead magnet. So hopefully you've got to be very specific, deal with a micro problem, help them solve it completely, giving you a place to research it. Once you've done that, that's really going to help you with the rest of the stages as well too. So, so you want to spend more time on a landing page. So a landing page has got one purpose. People can only take two actions. One action is they leave, they click the back button or exit. The other action is that they go and subscribe or download what you've actually got. So I'll give you an example of a good lead magnet. Oh, sorry, a good landing page. I'll find it. I know it's a good one because I made it. But this one here, have a look on here. What can they possibly do on this page? Can they do anything else on this page apart from exit, hit the back button, or fill in their name and email and click the access button? There is nothing else they can do. So don't have on there, your menu at the top or anything else around it that they could click through and take them away from it. You will see some links down the bottom of it, which might counter what I'm saying. You click on any of these links at the bottom there, and these are really for Google to help with Google sightings, having terms, privacy policy, that sort of thing there. They all open up in a different tab. They don't close this tab at all. They open in a different tab. So that's the only exception, but everything else, they cannot do anything else. So this is a really good example of a landing page. And the reason why I say it's a good example is at the top, you've got who is it for? This one is for business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking for essential tools. So it is for, so anyone's not a business owner or entrepreneur, it's not really for them. I've stated quite specifically for that. So make sure you target it to who you're looking for. And the more specific you can be about that, the better. So, work with people that are looking to, or say parents. So with particular style of kids. So for parents with kids under 5 years of age, that's a really good specific target market. For entrepreneurs who'd like to become a published author, that even though they're illiterate, something like that. Then you've got your main headline. So you've got your main headline. It's probably not the greatest main headline, that one there, but it'll do for the moment. We'll probably change that one there. But it should be sort of what is it they're going to expect to get out of this? People know they're going to learn how to use Canva on this one here at all. Then you've got your sub headline. This is an incredible online app that can, what can it do? And then this is the most important part, is having a bullet point of the benefits you're going to provide them. Don't tell them what you're going to do, but tell them what they're going to receive. How is it going to benefit them? So you don't want to say that you provide the best program for doing something, but you want to tell them what they're going to be able to do having gone through this. So So here it says, make you look like a pro designer without paying thousands for a graphic designer. So I've hit the money button there. Create a perfect image by describing it in text. So those that don't have a creative bone in their body, they just need to tell the machine what it wants to do. It will create an image for them. So it's all solving, various problems or that relate to this micro problem. And that's where going into those Facebook posts, in those groups, you'll find a whole lot of related things. You can use those here as your bullet points. So they're virtually writing it all for you. And if you do that and you express it in their terms and their words, not your words, so don't rewrite it in your terms, use their words, you'll get a far conversion rate if you use their words. And then always have a call to action at the bottom, and then they can fill out their name and email address. So best thing is just to have the email address. That's all you need. But if you're asking for a name, only ask for their first name. You don't need their last name. Just ask for the bare minimum of information, because you can always get that information later on. But at this stage, you only want their email address because you want to start the conversation. You can ask the rest of the details later. The more fields you've got in the form, the less conversion rate you're going to get. People that feel like they're going to give out more information or more personal stuff, they're not going to, some people are not going to do it. So having just an email address is your ideal. You got your hand up again, Lazim. Maybe that was from last time. All right. So spend the time on the landing page, and again, use the information and the intel you get from your research to craft a copy in your landing page. You don't have to start from scratch. Use what they say. You don't have to be a good copywriter to do it. Use their words. Next thing you need is a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool. When the email address that you capture on that landing page, you need to send it through to somewhere that can capture, that you can use it to send email. Now, the simplest place to send it through to is something like a Google Sheet. So Google Spreadsheet is good enough. If you want to get any more sophisticated, then you can use something like Drip or Entreport or Infusionsoft or MailChimp or one of those CRMs. But if you used, let's say, just Google Sheets to start with, because you're just testing to see whether this one's got legs or not, then you can use that app that I talked about earlier on the meeting called GMass. Connect that up to your spreadsheet, and you can send all your emails through your Google account or your Google Workspace account. So that's a very simple, low-tech way of doing it. So your CRM spreadsheet is going to capture the details. The first email you send them is a delivery email, which is going to give them the lead magnet. Now, one thing I would warn you against is when people, after people have filled out that form and click submit, don't take them immediately to the download page for your lead magnet, because what that'll do is it will encourage people to use a fake email address. So you get lots of fake email addresses. So make sure you only take them through to a thank you page, so that if they did use a fake email address, they're not going to get your lead magnet. The only way they're going to get it is if they put in a real email address and they get the welcome email. And you can quickly filter out those ones that have used the fake email addresses by doing that, because their emails are going to bounce when you send them emails anyway. So once you've got your delivery email, you want an email sequence where you keep in touch with them. And I would say a daily email sequence for at least the first 7 to 10 days. And make sure you've got, not in all of them, but you have some form of call to action. Basically, the call to action in your emails is, well, what do I do next? I've got this far, and your lead magnet should create another problem. So you solve one micro problem, and all that does is create another problem. So, okay, so now that I know that I can actually create the content to write a book, well, how do I actually go and turn that into a book? So that's another problem. You've solved a micro problem. Now it's like, okay, well, how do I take the next step? So you want to make sure your call to action leads them on to the very next step. And using tags, that's in your CRM. If you've got a CRM, there are things called tags which you can track what people are doing. Be relentless with your follow-up. So as I say, once they've been through your sequence of 7 to 10 emails, if they didn't buy from you, make sure you keep emailing them at weekly is ideal, or monthly. Any longer than monthly is too long. You want to keep top of mind for them. And you want to keep on, helping to, them to solve that initial problem that you've got, or giving them other value or other ways of improving on it, and also create the new problems as well too. I've solved the problem of not knowing how to write a book. I can actually create the content. What's the next step? So you start to take them through the process that they'll go through as a customer of yours. I was speaking to someone the other day, and she has 4 years worth of weekly emails set up in an autoresponder system. 4 years worth. So how did she do that? She didn't do it overnight. She used to write an email a week, and she just kept on putting the autoresponder. She's been doing it for 4 years. And so when anyone comes in and starts now, they're getting the emails that were written 4 years ago. So she's made them topical enough so that these emails don't date. But, if you keep consistently with it, then and once you start that sort of flow, you can go on holiday without, worrying about, I've got to write my next email. So it's just sort of setting up that process system. So you might want to get out, 3 or 4 emails to start with, so you're ahead of the game, and then you just keep on trying to write one a week. And by having the email hit their inbox all the time, keeps you top of mind. And so when they are ready to buy, you're the person they think of, because you've already given them lots of value. And, what are they going to do? If they go to Google, they're going to have to start this whole process all over again with somebody else, or they're going to go with you, who they already have gotten to know, and you've demonstrated your capability. And make offers when you're in the US. Don't be afraid of making offers. Don't make it every time. But also, and they don't have to be hard offers. They can be invitations. An offer is just an invitation. Could be an invitation for a chat, or what it happens to be. Self-promotion. So make sure you promote your lead magnet as well too. No good creating a landing page and nobody knows it's there. So post on social media. So you should be posting. I mean, ideally, people ask, well, how often should I be posting? I say daily. In fact, multiple times daily. You can't post too many times, because the way the algorithm works now, you are lucky if 3% of people in your friends list or on your page or whatever actually get to see your content. So you can keep posting the same content regularly, weekly, but if you post daily, sounds like a lot of work, but there's some tools out there that means that you can set up a month's worth of posting, and then you can just keep repeating it month after month after month without ever touching it again. Networking is great as well too, particularly if you want people to share and like your stuff. Don't be afraid of asking people to share, like, and comment on your stuff on social media, and make sure you've got the link back to your landing page, and just keep asking people to help support you in this as well. I did a test between paid marketing. I used Google Ads and organic marketing for one of my lead magnets that I created. Oh, in fact, for that one that I showed you on that Canva program, that's a free program that we've got. And so I ran a Google ad. We got 8,500 impressions on it. I don't know how many clicks we got up, but we got 7 people signed up for it. And that cost me $70. Organically, just with the organic posts, going to networking, asking people, we got over 150 people that actually signed up as a result of those organic methods. So if you think you have to pay for marketing in order for it to work, and that's the best form, then you don't. You can do it organically, and you can get better results organically if you just persistent and keep at it. You can pay for it once you've perfected it and you know that it's working. You can then go and pay for ads to amplify it, but I wouldn't be paying for ads until you've got something that's actually working well for you. And here are the tools that you need. You can be very no tech or low tech with this. One of the blockers and stoppers for people creating effective lead magnets and an effective lead magnet system is that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to create a web page or a landing page to do it. They don't know how to connect the forms and all that sort of thing together. You need nothing complex at all. You can use, so for those of you that know the program canva.com, most of the stuff you can get done inside Canva. And in fact, if you use Canva and Google Forms, that will do pretty much 95% of all this for you. You can create your landing page, you can create your lead magnet, you can create all of your social media posts, all the imagery you need. You can connect it to a Google form, and you can schedule your posts to go to social media from within Canva, and have that whole system up and running there, so that you don't have to touch it once it's running. And then, of course, there are a couple of other tools. OneUp app that we talked about tonight, and GMAS. You can use both of those tools as well too. OneUp app, again, that's free, so you can either use the one that's in Canva or you can use the free one. The OneUp app free version. And if you want to automate your email, so you don't need to use GMAS or automatic emailing tool. If you didn't want to pay for it, you know, at the start, you know, the emails may, you know, even if you've got 5 or 6 a day, you can go and just email them individually with the template you've set up in your emails. But what GMAS allows you to do is to automate some of that process. But that's as simple as it needs to be. So once you've got that, and you've got it working, and you start getting some clients and funds coming in, that's when you start to scale up and start to spend some money on the stuff. So don't let the no tech stuff or not knowing what to do stop you. There are some tools in here to really help you. And in fact, if you wanted to, let's have a look. If you wanted a Canva course that was going to help you do it, let me bring you back to that landing page, because this is this one here. Let me drop this into chat, because this is free. In fact, this is a replay of a session that we did here on Business Owners Smashing It Online a few months back, and that will take you through quite a lot of those tools. So if you want a basics of trip through how you do it all in Canva, that there will do it. So just go and grab that, and that'll take you through that process. And for those of you that would like to just go in a bit deeper and actually get this done, then you are more than welcome to join the Canva program that we run. I mean, it is a Canva program. It's not about making a better or good graphic designer. It's about how do you use it to create a lead generation system. So just what I've shown you today, what I've talked about today, we take you through over 6 weeks how to create everything from your lead magnet, using some of the tools I spoke about today and some of the research, how to create your landing page. You'll actually create your landing page on the program itself. You'll host it in Canva, so you don't have to go off and get any website platform. You don't have to worry about setting up WordPress or Wix or anything like that. It all happens in Canva. You can host it there. You create it all inside there. Your social media post, you'll create all of that inside Canva. We do that in the sessions as well. And then you will use the Canva scheduling tool to schedule it out to social media as well. And you'll start driving traffic there, and you'll collect the leads that you're getting into your Google spreadsheet as well too. So, if you're interested in that, just take a screenshot of the QR code that's on there, or grab the link, which is ezyurl.co/Canva. The next session, I think, is starting in 2 or 3 weeks' time. So go and have a look, and you're more than welcome to join. All right, what have we got? Some questions here. Sally mentioned the symptoms or the potential they didn't realize they have. So I'm not quite sure what.
No, Sally was asking, the question is, how do I mention the service without mentioning the product?
Oh, I see. Yep. No, very good question. The way you do that is you talk about what people are saying. Listen to what people are saying about how they're experiencing life, or how they're experiencing what is. Have you got an example there, Sally?
Red light therapy and infrared saunas are really well known in South Africa and America, and a lot of elite athletes are using these modalities. Yep. But the Australians simply don't know what that red light therapy does for them in terms of athletic performance and recovery times and building muscle mass.
Okay, so you wouldn't be talking about red light therapy. You'd be talking about what's important to the athletes, building muscle mass and recovery time and that sort of thing there. Obviously, this has got some benefits over some other therapies, has it?
Oh, look, the red light therapy and infrared sauna is just, it has benefits for Alzheimer's. I think 67% of people can actually improve with infrared sauna. There's reduction in inflammation. It's resetting circadian rhythms. There's so much about these two modalities that people simply don't know about it.
Okay, so you've got this area of things that people don't know that they don't know. So if you start talking about the actual treatment and the therapies themselves before dealing with the things that they don't know, it's going to mean nothing to them.
So would you suggest then just do that in posts? I mean, that's what I've been trying to do, just in posts constantly, social media or lead magnets.
So pick off a one particular issue that you solve. So you talked about Alzheimer's there.
Yep, I'd rather probably stick with the elite athletes, or
Okay.
my aim is to market to PTs to get a referral system. They can have free red light therapy or infrared sauna if they refer me their clients.
Okay, so before we get to that, we need to work out what's going to be the benefit their clients are going to get. Like, is what you're going to do going to treat them quicker, faster, better, more longer term?
Reduced recovery times.
Reduced recovery
between workouts. They can go harder and faster at the workout, get a better result from doing a workout, but reduce their recovery times by using red light therapy.
Okay, so I understand that. So find their frustration in the length of time it takes to recover. What are they saying in the gym? About the time it takes for them to recover. Oh, I've got sore muscles. It's like, geez, I just can't, I've done leg day today. I know I've got to build on my legs again, but I've got to wait 2 days before I can really do that again. So dare I say it, go and hang around a gym for a while.
Oh my goodness.
How terrible would that be? And listening to some of the conversations and start to ask some questions. That's where you start to get the language that they're using. It's really important you use their language and how they describe their problems and the issues that they've got that they'd like to push through, or they'd like to really sort of solve. And so there may be some things that feel like they're insurmountable, but so you need to describe that first and find out what they're saying, and then you use that language in your landing page and in your lead magnets and in your social media posts.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and again, so when you're in there, try and pick an issue that is reasonably specific. So not just general recovery. So you might talk about, say, leg recovery.
Yeah.
Because there'll be some people working on various different things, and people go to gyms for different purposes. Some go there to build muscle. Some go there for cardiac fitness. So you've got to work out what their goals are and what they're going for, and then sort of align those with the specific solutions that they want for all specific problems they've got. So bring those two together, and then you start to I was going to say, write your copy and ask them. You really want to ask them questions about how does it feel? I mean, is that frustrating, or is it do you feel like it's holding you up? Just find out what they're feeling, and then your copy is what they say. So you actually don't need to craft any copy. You're just putting what they say onto the page.
Okay, thank you.
And what's going to happen is that you'll hear these conversations, and you go to another gym, they're probably having the same conversations. So you start to put up, and you're putting up words there that everybody in all the gyms across the country is saying. I think, this person knows exactly what I'm going through. She must have the solution.
Okay, and some of the Facebook groups will probably talk about that as well, if you go to Active and Healthy and that sort of thing.
That sort of thing as well, absolutely. In fact, you go to see if you can get into Facebook groups that are for specific gyms. They're probably good Facebook groups for you to go to. So okay. Like I'm a member of the F45 Facebook group in Nerang. They talk about all that sort of stuff in there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else got any quick questions? I know I've run over time here. I'm just trying to read through to see what autoresponder do we use. Autoresponders usually go with inside your CRMs. So whether you choose Drip or MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, there's lots and lots of them out there. But most of them have got in. One thing I would say is a sales CRM is different to a marketing CRM. So a sales CRM will have email capabilities, but won't have the same capabilities for tagging people, moving people through conversations and through sequences. A sales CRM is more about where people are in the sales process, from lead, prospect, client, and past client. So if you want some more info about that, happy to help you with that. With the invention of the ship came the shipwreck. Absolutely true. Yep. One solution creates another problem. Yep. Okay. Anyone else have anything there? I'm just trying to get through the chat here. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you, Paul. So I had an error on my landing page. That means everybody was there trying to do the same thing at the same time. Just give it a couple of. Oh, so that's probably
it must have got through, because I just got an email back from it.
Oh, you did? Okay, so it might have been just your computer saying, no, you're not having this, but it got through anyway.
Yeah, I did it a couple of times, same error message. I thought, oh, but then, yeah.
Okay, sometimes the server does that, so yeah. If you couldn't get through on that because you did get an error message, then just try it again, a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes.
It turns out I've already got an account there anyway, so that could have been it.
So, yep. All right. All right, well, that's our session for tonight. Apologies for going over time, but you're still here, so hopefully that was helpful. We do have a prize draw tonight as well too. Again, if you don't want to watch this again, it'll be on the SmashGo YouTube channel tomorrow. So it'll be uploaded by tomorrow afternoon. Just go to YouTube and search SmashGo, and we'll put the link into chat as well too. And the prize for tonight is to that Canva program on creating that whole lead magnet system. So the lucky winner tonight will win that. If Gordon wins it, we'll ask him what to do, because he was the lucky recipient of this a few months ago. So we got that wheel of names up. Here we go. So everyone's name is in the wheel of names. Hopefully we've got everybody's name in there. All right, let's spin the wheel, and one lucky person is going to win a ticket into the program, which is worth valued at $9.97. So it's not a small ticket at all. And our winner is Sarah Holden. Remember, you got to be here to win. Are you still here, Sarah? Let's have a look through our guest list here. Oh no, Sarah.
Redraw.
Redraw. Yes. Sorry, Sarah. That is, you're not here, so we do have to redraw it. So let's hit that wheel again. And a virtual drum roll, please, for Jane Watson. She's already done it.
I was going to say, thank you, Nick. Do it again, because I really appreciated the opportunity to be on the first group, and I'm sure someone else would love to do it. It's valuable, extremely valuable.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Jane.
All right, my pleasure.
Let's spin that wheel again. And this time I know it's going to go to someone that hasn't been there and is in the room, and that would be Mark Enstar. There we go. You in the room, Mark? Oh, yes, he is. I can see you there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Fantastic. All right, we'll organise that with you sort of during the week there, Mark, and look forward to seeing you on the program.
Awesome. Cheers.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, that is our session tonight. Again, thank you for sticking with me. You know, I'm supposed to keep these to time, but being the host, I took the prerogative to go over time. So thanks for staying here with me, and look forward to seeing you next week. If you've got any questions about this at all, feel free to drop me a line or a note about it. More than happy to help. if you want any help in any of these sort of areas, again, just let me know. All right, we're going to have a good night, and we'll see you again.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nik Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.